Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rogers Kakasungura YouTube channel. A beautiful Wednesday morning. I hope wherever you are, you have woken up well. Our mission is to fight and make sure that we are building a better Kenya that all of us and our coming generations are going to be proud of. People asking, what next? Yesterday, there was a surprise press conference between Raila Odinga and William Samoei Ruto in what looked like a handshake, in what looked like another coalition government that is looming. Now, people have called me, some are texting me asking, Kaka, can you tell us what next? Where are we headed as a country? My analysis might not be 100% true, but I'll give my opinion as I see things are, where we are headed as a country, and what do we expect from yesterday's meeting between Raila and William Ruto. If you keenly followed yesterday's events, Kalonzo Musyoka chickened out of that meeting. Kalonzo Musyoka actually ran away. Eugene Wamalwa was not present. Martha Karua was not present. The same way in 2017, when Uhuru Kenyatta shook hands with Raila, all those people who were with Raila in the Maandamano were not present. It was only Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta. The same has repeated itself, and it happened yesterday. Now, I want to give you a comparison. From that comparison, we will try to find out what next for the country. After Maraga nullified the 2017 elections, William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta went for another election, which financially drained Kenya. But unfortunately, Uhuru Kenyatta won and Raila lost. Kenya went into a financial crisis. Uhuru Kenyatta couldn't run government. He got confused. He didn't know how to steer forward a broke country that has spent billions of shillings in an election. 2 elections. So a confused Uhuru saw only one solution: to go for Raila Odinga for more advice and more suggestions. Raila Odinga is an African figure. He understands how economies are built. I'm not defending Raila, but I want to open your eyes and see a broader picture of what is happening. And I told you guys here, I will never be compromised to join government. I will remain in opposition. Even if Raila joins government, I will criticize him where necessary. I am in opposition to remain. I'm in opposition to stay. Now, Uhuru Kenyatta saw a Kenya going into the ditch economically. And the only solution was to seek help from Raila Odinga. So they shook hands. And Uhuru Kenyatta revealed this later in this video. Can you watch this video?
And indeed, when the former Prime Minister, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and I shook hands on March 8th of 2018, it was because we saw a crack on the wall of our nation. We had run 2 elections that costed the country in excess of 1 trillion shillings. These losses made us see that we were staring at a nation divided right in the middle. But because we had disagreed respectfully, we knew that this was a mark of progress, and though it was difficult, the necessity, the reason, and recognition that we as Kenyans need each other, nation before self, as our forefathers had taught us, to come together reinforced our resolve. Therefore, again, I will continue to say that we need to come together and mend the crack on the wall of our nation, and this, I believe, is what necessitated the First Amendment to our Constitution. And although it encountered some legal obstacles, I say again today that BBI is just a dream deferred. One day, someday, it will happen. Because just as the...
Now, that ended. Raila rescued Uhuru Kenyatta from a sinking nation, and they agreed to come up with the BBI, which collapsed. Uhuru retired. In the year 2022, there was another election. William Ruto versus Raila Odinga. Mambo ikaenda namna hii, Ruto was announced the president. Since that time, Ruto has found it difficult, very difficult, to run government. Ruto has failed to resurrect Kenya's economy. Ruto has failed to manage Kenya's debt. Ruto has failed to manage borrowing. He thought IMF will rescue him, but he has come back to his senses and noticed IMF is even burying him more. He's been looking around. Maandamano all over. Gen Zs are taking him head on. Doctors head on. Teachers head on. Media head on. So Ruto can't even breathe. He's looked around, seen Gashawa cannot help me. Just like Uhuru alienda kuangalia akaona Ruto, huyu hawezi nisaidia. He knows nothing about governance. Now, Ruto na yeye ameenda kupiga macho akaona if I continue being a hardcore, I will lose it. If I continue trusting the likes of Ndindi Nyoro, if I continue trusting the likes of Kimani Ichung'wah, if I continue trusting incompetent advisors like David Ndii, I will get finished. He looked around and saw the only available option to help him, genuinely, is Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga genuinely helped Uhuru Kenyatta. Genuinely. William Ruto has gone for Raila Odinga, and they have agreed to run government. During the handshake between Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta, BBI was born, but it never grew. The agreement between Ruto and Raila has given birth to NADCO. As I told you previously, what next for Kenya? Expect a NADCO government. In this sense, last week, Ruto was to announce further measures and reorganization in his government. That never came to pass. Do you know why? They were planning for a joint government. And what is going to happen now going forward? Expect a transformed cabinet that, of course, is going to accommodate Raila Amolo Odinga. Wait. And by the way, I don't want to lie to you. I do not want to lie to you. You can keep this video for future reference. You can keep it anywhere for future reference. But I want to tell you this. Raila is not violent. Raila loves this country. Raila hataki kuona Kenya ikipigana. Raila hataki kuona Kenya ikiwa imegawanya. I'm not defending him. But truth be said, Raila had an opportunity to send Moi home. He had managed. But he said no. Dialogue. Raila in 2007, Raila had an opportunity to send Kibaki home. But he said no. Let's embrace dialogue. In 2017, Raila had an opportunity under Maraga to send Uhuru Kenyatta home. Lakini akasema no, let's embrace dialogue. In the wake of Gen Zs and Rigathi Gachagua, Raila still had an opportunity to overthrow Ruto. But he has said no, let's embrace dialogue. Right? Ladies and gentlemen, from here, and I want to repeat, expect an radical government. Expect an radical government. And keep this video for future reference. If the Gen Zs can't remobilize themselves, if the only opportunity left to rescue this country is the Gen Zs, if Gen Zs will not remobilize themselves, trust me, William Ruto is a 10-year president. Facts. I'll be here to remind you. Uzuri mimi sijui kusugarcoat vitu. I speak them the way they are. If Gen Zs cannot mobilize themselves as they did, if the Gen Zs cannot see for the future, I bet what happened yesterday gave Ruto a direct 10-year in government. Mupende, musipende. Najua sahi mutanitusi. Najua sahi mutasema kaka, I don't know we are defending Raila. Najua sahi mutasema mengi. Na mimi nimeambiwa mengi, lakini nimesimama katika ukweli. Niwaambie leo, na nitakuwa hapa kwa kumbusha. Kilichofanyika jana kimempatia William Ruto miaka 10 katika serikali. Iwapo vijana wa Gen Z hawatasimama imara, waseme tunataka kuikomboa Kenya. If that cannot happen, then Ruto is a 10-year president. There's nothing we can do. That is the strategy. It has happened. We can't kill ourselves. We forge forward and correct them in good faith. I will remain in opposition no matter the circumstances. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. See you in the next video. Asanteni sana.